Hello and welcome to the Hatewatch podcast. Steph and Tom here, still recovering from England's passage through to the quarterfinals as the World Cup reaches peak Hatewatch fever. On the pod today, we'll be discussing all the hate watching from the past few days, as well as following Balogun's red card suspension and all the mess that has created, and a look at the worst games of the competition so far. Afternoon, Tom. How are you feeling? As we are 4 days out from a World Cup quarterfinal?
Yeah, I mean, we're also 36-ish hours since we sat through the England-Mexico game, and I'm still very much recovering from that. So I'm certainly not back to my 100% self yet with the 4 a.m. finish, but no, we're doing all right. I can't complain after a wonderful result. At least the experience is obviously a bit more painful than we would have liked, but you can't complain about making a World Cup quarter final. I mean, we've had two good wins since we last spoke on here, so it's been all good from England's side and plenty to talk about for the rest of the World Cup. How are you recovering after Sunday night's antics?
Uh, yeah, recovering is a good verb to use in this situation because, as you will know, we had some rather painful celebrations during that game. For those who were not there, for Harry Kane's penalty, I ended up sandwiched between a chair and you,
Yeah, yeah.
which is great fun.
Mm.
Um,
Very reasonable response to a penalty goal from me, I must say. Yeah,
a perfect excuse. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, good.
Um, but every few hours, I find a new pain in my body stemming from that celebration.
I
Uh,
can definitely say you're well.
that's that's how it's going at the moment.
Yeah,
But as you say, can't complain. We're in the quarterfinals, and been put through the ringer to get there. But that's the fun of it.
yeah. That's how the World Cup goes, isn't it? Yeah,
And we've just been laughing at all the other teams that haven't made it,
of course, of
which is
course.
where we can kind of begin today.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, obviously we'll do all the Balogun stuff in detail in a bit, but
Hmm.
I feel like the actual story of the tournament is like shaping how we're um hate watching teams in the latter stages now.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, certainly. I mean, I know I said when we did our preview before the World Cup that I was going to be hate watching the USA, and obviously everything that's happened in the last couple of days since the Balogun red card has hyped that up to 100 times more than that. And I think the rest of the world who were neutral going into them v Belgium were had their minds made up for them in terms of the integrity of the sport. But they're not the only ones since we last recorded who have been on the receiving end of me not wanting them to win. I mean, we can go all the way back to Germany Paraguay from the round of 32. Obviously, very shortly after we recorded last time that game happened, and I know I said again in our preview that I have a soft spot for Germany, but as they're a big nation, them losing is quite a fun thing to see. And the way Paraguay defended in that game was sort of the typical way you need to set up against Nagelsmann's Germany side, and they almost executed it into perfection within normal time, but were taken to extra time and pens. And I can't remember a roller coaster penalty shootout that had so many twists and turns to the level of that in terms of them Paraguay having two spot kicks to win the game and missing both of them for then Germany to just ruin all their momentum with Jonathan Tah just blazing it over the bar. So
It would have
that
been
was
very
one.
Germany to win a shootout in that manner,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
it?
Obviously, the narrative of everything with Germany and World Cup shootouts, obviously not losing one since they lost to the Panenka penalty all the way back in sort of the 70s. So yeah, it was a big sort of not fear for Paraguay because we know very well this is a very different Germany side. So there was always a thinking that they could very easily lose this penalty shootout, and they ended up doing just that, which was an amazing story for that stage of the World Cup. But we moved forward to sort of the round of 16 with Paraguay's next game, and they sort of completely threw away all the well wishings that you could think of. And it was a game where I would have quite liked them to have knocked France out because France, I think, from what we've seen, are the overwhelming favourites for this competition. But the way the referee allowed Paraguay to use their dart arts to beyond parody was just so painful to watch that by the end I didn't really care that France ended up winning because it was a like Paraguay didn't deserve to get
It,
anything more than what they got, which was losing in 90 minutes.
yeah, that was a weird one. I mean, it's I think it's important you mentioned the ref because I think he was the main sort of driver for how the game panned out.
So
Because I don't think Portugal, Paraguay's approach was like wrong, but they basically were told, yeah, you can keep doing what you're doing.
I'm not going to
And they
book
just,
any of you ever. So yeah, just keep going.
um, and yeah, obviously, like I don't know what the bar for a yellow was. Obviously, France managed to beat Paraguay on that count by what 3-0
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
end. One of them was completely bogus.
Mm.
In Michael Elise's one, I think was it the Kone one that was absolute stick on,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That
the
was
other one I
the
can't remember to be honest.
no. I
But
obviously plenty of games
it's
since then.
it's not really important to what we're talking about because the 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 line was just it kept Paraguay were just in charge of what they were able to do in basically, and
Yeah,
in the end, as much as like you say we wanted France to like not win, we in the end it was like I think football has to be the winner here today,
yeah.
and justice has to prevail,
Mm.
and um and yeah, I mean to give them credit, they did defend pretty well, and and France were limited to that penalty kick in the
Yeah,
end. Um, and I mean, I can't believe it took them so long to give that as well.
yeah, yeah,
Um, because you know how it is. It looks pretty blatant when it first happens, and then the replays go, oh no, fair enough. And no, this was just like, yeah, no, he took him out.
yeah. There's been a few of those in the knockout stages where referees have just
The Brazil one at the weekend,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good example of
Completely
that.
missing blatant fouls. I mean, obviously it wasn't a penalty, but the referee not even giving a foul for Kwanzaa's red card in England's game against Mexico was another example of that. Just clear fouls. The referees have great views of it, just not being given. And whether that is what's been talked about in the Premier League this season, last season, as we speak, of referees knowing they've got a VAR backup, so they're going to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then if VAR needs to overturn it, they overturn it. Whether that is playing in their minds or this sort of thing, I don't know, but yeah, the standards of refereeing in these knockout stages have been really strange, and yeah, the fact that France needed that in the end was testament to what Paraguay were still able to do, despite all the antics on top of that, which is yeah, it's going to be interesting now. France have got much tougher teams now in their way between them and the final, so we
Yeah,
see how they get on with Morocco later on this week, and eventually maybe Spain if Spain are obviously the obvious name on that side of the draw to keep going, but we've seen some twists already, so you can't rule anything out with that either.
yeah. And you know, Paraguay have been no means the only like hate watch that we've been doing in the knockouts. I mean, we've said from the outset that we would be kind of anti Ronaldo,
Mm-hmm.
and the Portugal Croatia game was, aside from being an absolute riot,
Mm-hmm.
um, was a massive disappointment. Failed hate watch in that respect.
Yeah.
Not just because they lost, but obviously the ending to that game was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and obviously they led in that game as well. Um, Croatia, and they had three disallowed goals in the end in that
Yeah,
second half.
yeah, I think so.
Um, and they've somehow lost that match. When they were more than a match for Portugal, who I mean, let's be honest, they've stunk out this competition.
Yeah, yeah. I think far too many people were over relying on their names in their heads when we were sort of talking about the favourites from the start of the tournament, without forgetting that they have a manager who, well, had now as he's since resigned, but have a manager who has relatively, well, very much underperformed on the international stage when he's taken these big jobs in Roberto Martinez, and have a 41-year-old man child up front who, for some reason, Martinez still made it all about him, whereas if he had just used Ronaldo in a different way and utilised the other really good attackers he could have used, like Gonzalo Ramos, who didn't get enough time, then they probably would have performed much closer to levels that people were hoping to see. But because Ronaldo was just given the spotlight the whole time, well, okay, Martinez did eventually take him off in the Croatia game, even though it didn't look like he was going to after he made the multiple changes about 10 minutes before that. But yeah, it was just a sort of outcome of Martinez and Ronaldo's own stubbornness that they can't just not make it all about him. I mean, I was listening to Tim Vickery speak about Ancelotti's use of Neymar in the Brazil-Norway game and referring back to the Brazil-Scotland game, and he compared it to a sort of retired star coming on for a charity match, which I
Yeah.
think is not far off what you can call Ronaldo's sort of contribution in this World Cup too. Apart from, okay, the Uzbekistan game was a nice moment for him, but that's sort of the minimum you expect from someone who is still sees himself as the best player in the world, even though it's been evident for quite a few years now that he's a long way off the best players in the world currently. And so the fact he couldn't deliver in the knockouts again, okay, he got his penalty goal, so he's finally got a knockout goal, but that will be his only knockout goal forever now, unless by some miracle he makes the next World Cup when he's 45 years old, which I think some journalists already say he will find a way, which I'm hoping that whoever's in charge of Portugal in 4 years' time will finally, like not make that even
That's not
possible.
happening. I think
No,
he has now said that this is his last World Cup. I mean,
yeah,
that doesn't mean anything because a man can change his mind.
exactly, yeah. But I think it was sort of leaked from his sister as well that no matter what happens, he was going to walk away. But yeah, he hasn't done it in a complete official sense yet. But yeah, that's certainly. There's not. I am just playing to the choir here. I don't think he'll be playing beyond 2 years' time, let alone in four. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was fun to see going into the game last night as we record against Spain, where I I don't think he touched the ball more than 10 to 15 times, and he played the full 90 minutes. I mean, it was such a boring game. I was zoning in and out quite a bit, having been quite football fatigued and sleep
Yeah.
deprived over the last few days. But yeah, it was a nice way for that to end after the excitement of the Croatia game, where they had obviously the disallowed goal in the very last minute. And I will say I was quite glad on the inside that I didn't have to stay out for another 30 minutes at that point, because sleep was
Oh,
going to
but it
be.
would have been incredible.
Yeah, it would have been, of course, yeah, from a footballing standpoint, yeah, but there was a very small part of me. It's like, oh, I can actually go to bed. That's a small win.
That match could have gone for 4 hours. I would have watched
Mm.
every second.
Oh yeah. No, I don't believe it. I mean, there was another game in the knockouts that would have had me doing that, which was, of course, Argentina, Cabo Verde, which,
That's where
uh,
I was going next as well.
yeah.
Another.
Yeah, go
Um,
through that one.
I,
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I feel bad calling it a hate watch because it's not anti-Argentina. It's very
Mm.
much pro Cape Verde thing. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, it's
Um,
borderline, isn't it? Yeah.
but there is a bit of me that I think I've said this before, where I don't like it if the winners, the reigning champions, keep winning. I'm
Hmm.
happy for the reigning champions to relinquish their crown, particularly if they do it early, and particularly if they do it against someone you're not expecting.
Oh yeah.
Um, um, and also they're on our side of the draw, and it's nice to see them get done a bit,
Yeah,
which
of
is
course.
good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I yeah, I tip my hat to Cape Verde, who have been a fine addition to the tournament. Thank God that they expanded it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've had plenty of discussions with some people online about this during the week. I mean,
I
there is,
promise you
there is
that's tongue in cheek for those
a,
listening.
yeah.
Um,
There is a very fair argument that we wouldn't have had 10 African nations in this World Cup without it. So there is,
it would have under normal circumstances or the previous format they would have had an extra round where they would have had a two-legged tie.
yeah, they would have had to
But
play.
as we've seen, you know, Tunisia would have been in that. They would have
Yeah,
got destroyed,
yeah. So
more than likely.
it's more on the very poor way that the African Footballing Association set up their qualifiers for the World Cup rather than it being a success of the
Well,
exclusive.
they doubled the amount of teams that
Yeah,
they could
yeah.
do, so they could literally do away with one of the rounds in their
Hmm.
qualification.
Yeah, no, 100.
Um, how else do you do that? Maybe you do smaller groups and then
Yeah.
get an extra round out of that. I don't
Yeah,
know,
basically.
but
Yeah.
that's not the point. The point
Yeah.
is that they're fully there on merit, whether it's 32 or 48 teams,
Yeah, and
either way,
they've
and then
shaped.
prove that at the tournament itself.
No,
So
100%.
we don't need to say, oh wow, I'm glad we got to see them, because we more than likely would have seen them anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there were so many moments during that Argentina game where I couldn't believe what I was watching from the Cape Verde side. Just the counter-attacking style they play is so exciting, and they had, of course, from sort of novice perspective of the names in their team. I know Cabral plays in Europe, but I hadn't come across him before, so seeing him sort of perform to the levels that I know African journalists who I do follow have bigged him up from the start of this tournament, saying he's someone you need to look out for in this team, and he showed it with that goal that he scored. Which, when you see Argentina go 2-1 up, you think Cape Verde have had their moment where they get the first equaliser.
And any goal in extra time, you think, oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's such a momentum killer that the opposition really need to pick themselves up. And Cape Verde had looked like they were tiring, but I think they've shown it multiple times in this tournament. When they do go a goal down, they can find something extra and just keep going.
The way they attack is so, I don't know, it's just so fluid, and
Yeah,
it's but also kind of they just know where to be so that the
yeah,
move flows. That
yeah.
it's
One touch, two touch, and everyone is just there.
yeah,
Ready to the
and it's
ball.
got like there's a method to it, but there's also like a free flowingness to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
which makes it so appealing on the eye as well.
hmm
Um, and to almost get the just rewards for it, you know. I wish every game was like that. I wish every team could just play like that instead of sitting back. And credit to them because they had to sit back against Spain,
Mm.
and they managed to do that as well. So
Yeah,
they've
they
got a
did.
bit of everything.
Yeah, which is
And
again,
that's why we'll remember them in terms of World Cup performance
mm.
across the board. We'll remember them always, I think.
Yeah. There's been a handful of teams in this tournament who have shown they're not good at either of those things. So yeah, even if they are abandoning what their first style is, yeah, they
Because
can.
also the other thing to mention is expansion or not, second in their group.
Yeah, exactly. So they did in a normal 32 team World Cup, they would have made the knockout stages anyway, and then they would have gone straight to a round of 16 game rather than a round of 32. So yeah, it was a great tournament from them, and I remember thinking about the narrative at the time when obviously this game happened after Portugal Croatia. So there was a moment like, oh, if Messi gets knocked out here and Ronaldo's gone through to the next round, it's going to be this is only going to fuel his fans even further. But happily, hasn't transpired with that, which. I mean, I shouldn't care too much about discourse online. It's become its own beast over the last decade, so it doesn't really appeal to me either way. But yeah, it was definitely a rumbling online when Argentina were drawing with them in extra time. But yeah, it's been such a nice thing to have when some of the other knockout games just haven't delivered at all. I mean, that one's a really nice story, and we're coming on to now what we got two more games of the round of 16 before we go into the quarterfinals where. I mean, there's so many different stories still to come. We can't wait to see what else we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see whether Argentina are the real deal or not
Yeah, 100%.
tonight because I think there's question marks now over how good they really are.
Yeah,
Um,
and Egypt,
and
interesting team.
as I said in our World Cup preview, that Egypt have got a bit about them, and I totally saw that coming.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you
yeah,
called it.
it
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't a total lucky guess, and my
No.
third dark horse pick of three.
I mean, on the flip side, I would have to apologise for my one. I mean, they did rebound a little bit, but Ecuador were a little bit disappointing in terms of how I
It
tried.
was a totally justifiable pick, though.
It was, yeah, with their record and everything else. But I mean, they went out in the way that they probably should. I know they obviously did very well against Germany, but I think we saw from how Germany played against Paraguay that sort of dampened that a little bit. That any team probably could have taken it to
Yeah, but
Germany.
they still had to win that game,
Oh yeah, no, of
and they
course,
did it in the best possible way.
yeah, by going 1-0 down and everything else. But yeah, no, it's
And then they succumbed to the altitude at the
yeah,
Azteca.
exactly. Whereas we did not. I mean,
Levels in it.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
um, and yeah, I much enjoyed Brazil going out before our match on Saturday. I think just because they're Brazil.
Yeah. I mean, we were having this debate with the other people we were watching that game with, and who we would rather face were we to go on and beat Mexico after that, which of course we have done. And there were so many positives for both sides in the sense of, oh, we played Brazil, we could. In my mind, we could have easily beaten Brazil in obviously what we saw in the Norway game and what we have seen throughout the tournament. And we've succumbed to them so many times throughout history and World Cups. It would be nice to get one
Yeah,
back over on them.
that's where I'm at on it. Like, it would have been cooler to beat Brazil,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
my head's also like, I did say this on Sunday night that if you said the quarterfinal is going to be us Norway, I'll be like, yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. Even with Haaland and everything else that they do have in that team, yeah, anyone would bite your hand off for that because it's a nation who are unproven at this level from since 1998. So yeah, it's like the sort of mindset of that for them might play a part and everything else. And they're I think on paper in the sense of they don't have the name of Brazil, but they have the talent. But at the same time, it's a case of England are, from what we've seen, England are capable of beating them. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game on Saturday.
Yeah,
And
and obviously I think the way we won our match is going to help our belief in terms of coming up against opposition like
yeah,
Holland,
I
etc.
think that last sort of 20-25 minutes with obviously the 11 added on is going to stick with England fans for a long,
Yeah,
long time.
you
Like,
say the last 25.
yeah,
That felt like 2 hours.
yeah, I mean, I am doxing myself here. I was probably drunk enough to not completely feel the pressure compared to some of the others that were watching it because I was not as nervous as I should have been for those last 10 minutes. I mean, the stats are there to show that my feeling was right, but that's not the logic of a football fan during that time. You think one chance and they'll get there, which when you are all 10 men behind the ball, then that's could happen eventually.
Yeah,
But got
watching the highlights, it was like it was more the fear of what they could do,
exactly,
but
yeah,
they did nothing.
yeah. I mean,
They
apart
were just
from
putting balls in the box, and the ball's getting straight back out. In
yeah,
some cases, into their half
oh yeah,
via the
yeah.
bonce of Dan Burn.
Exactly. Two out of two headers that don't bounce a single time from your own penalty box to the other half of the
I mean,
pitch.
slightly cheating on the Jimenez overhead kick, which
Yeah.
he generated the power for that
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than
yeah.
him.
That one is
But
complete. Yeah, the
he
other
had to
one.
get in the way, and he
Yeah,
did that.
yeah. Because yeah, on another day with the crosses that they were putting in, one of the bounces do just drop for them. So it was that's
As it did for the first goal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got the Konza. It just sort of ricocheted off Konza, and Quinones was there to rifle it in. So yeah, that's probably would have added to the fear. So that makes complete sense. But yeah, with that in mind going into the game on Saturday, that will fuel everything. And then I think with just the reaction with the fans afterwards, and I mean, it only dropped last night, but that video of John Stones and his shoulder winding up too. I probably watched that close to 100 times in the last 12
There's
hours.
so many things going on there that
Yeah, yeah,
I just love because you could tell that Rice and Stones are in on it,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and everybody's in a good mood,
Mm.
and Tuchel just doesn't know what's about to hit him. Like,
Yeah, considering this is like a thing that John Stones has done before, like this is a video that he's done in the Man City dressing room. So all his teammates probably know and understand this, whereas you can tell Tuchel's not seen that before. So and obviously with everything that happened to Jordan Henderson, what would have been probably 30 minutes before that, he's probably the pose he puts is like surely not. What's happening here? No, 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 no. And then he just drops the shoulder as the beat drops. Just the mood in the camp just seems like levels that we've not seen before at the moment, which we'll just hopefully
but they
carry
deserve to go through that because of what they achieved. Because
exactly, yeah.
another thing that I said immediately after the game was like, that is just the kind of game that we just end up on the wrong side of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Historically, like we have a great opportunity to advance and then we screw it up. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
obviously I'm thinking back to things like Iceland or um,
You can go back
I
to
don't
any
know,
other
like
red card incidents with like Rooney and Beckham from like '98 in
yeah,
Argentina. Oh
or
no, six.
Portugal in either of the quarters we had against Portugal 04
Yeah.
and 06.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, those are of that ilk where it's like we are the better team,
Mm.
but we're gonna find a way
Yeah.
to lose this.
Go into our shells for the last 20 sort of minutes and then have no confidence whatsoever if we take it to penalties or anything else. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happened. That is what England have always been in my lifetime. So yeah, for them to be down to 10 men for 30 minutes. I mean, to go down to 10 men and then less than 5 minutes later.
Did you say 30?
Well, 30 plus the added time. Yeah,
It
it
was a
was
lot
the.
more. Yeah, it was a
Well,
lot more than
yeah,
that.
it was the 55th minute. Yeah, you're right. So it was, yeah, definitely over 40 minutes. But yeah, with that happening and then going up the other end almost immediately and getting a third goal is probably why I was celebrating the penalty to the levels I was because
Yeah.
having the despair for such a short time to be lifted immediately, that's when the belief kicked in. Even though they went on and scored their penalty themselves, it's
But
just
that's the thing. Creating that cushion
mm,
immediately is what
yeah, took the pressure
helped.
off straight away. And yeah, it's going to
Um,
be something great to carry in. And when you add that with the late winner, well, late equaliser and winner against Congo, with confidence is growing and growing now. And if if our two best players in Kane and Bellingham, who have been touted as two of the best players in the world, and they're showing exactly why they are that, and
Yeah.
the sort of response to the pre-tournament talk of should Bellingham even go, it's been completely squashed now, which is, I mean, who could see that coming? Absolutely everyone. If you had a bit of nuance with your thinking, it didn't need to create this sort of pointless narrative. Just build your team around our two best players, and it's no surprise that they've scored every single goal we've scored in this World Cup, bar one from Marcus Rashford against Croatia, because that's exactly what Tuchel wants. He's built a team
Well,
around.
also everybody else is injured.
Yeah,
Everybody else is running on fumes right now. Like poor Bukayo Saka can barely run.
Yeah,
Declan Rice is
someone
literally running himself to the ground.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson's got one arm left. We're hoping that Reece James might be available again on Saturday, just because
I've heard he is. Yeah.
I mean, seeing the celebrations of him running around on the Azteca pitch at full time suggests that he will be able to play a part on Saturday. It's going to be, as someone who, as we both watched, I mentioned this almost every week with how Wiegman treats Lauren James, and her being basically stretched it off in the final of the Euros last year. It's going to be interesting. There's sort of a horrible sort of mirror of that when Reece does come back into the team. But yeah,
that's not a genetic thing. Come on.
I don't know. there is some science there. There's a reason that both their hamstrings are very similar in how they function. So yeah, but
but he might not even. He's not necessarily going to be picked.
No, of course.
Anyway,
I mean, we have got other options, whether that's going to be Konza moving over or Chalobah coming in. But I think
we will need to do something there, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Unless, of course, Keir Starmer puts a second call into FIFA this week, because I know about what we're probably about to move on to has set a precedent for that. So I think it's good time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, where do you begin with this? I mean, like it's a mess from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because I still believe it was a harsh red in the first place, the Palom and Balogun one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they judged the outcome over the like what actually happened.
Yeah,
like the circumstances leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
I do but I can also understand why it was given, and you can't at the same time you can't really argue it.
No.
In the same respect that there's no way that, Harry Kane booted the Mexican player in the box on Sunday, but it's a foul because it just is.
Get any of the ball, yeah. No, that's where obviously with. I think the thing with this one as well was the precedent was sort of set from the Qatar Canada game where the Canadian player Kone got his leg sort of broken, but the tackle itself probably wasn't a red card, and whether they
I think it
that
was
one
a
certainly
red
is
card,
more than the Balogun
but
one.
The weird bit was when they banned him for 5 matches.
yeah, which is
because that's definitely based on the consequence of the challenge rather than the challenge itself.
Yeah, rather than the intent. Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know whether the term endangering an opponent is being looked at much more strongly by FIFA during this tournament.
What does that mean? Like, I think that's if it's completely reckless.
Yeah,
what happened with Balogun?
What
happened with Balogun was a complete accident.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
In the same way that Gerald Kwanzaa's one was an accident. He doesn't mean to go over the ball. He's screwed up that challenge completely.
Yeah, he's gone too high.
But with the Balogun one, is it like the ball's dropping?
Yeah,
anyway,
it's how they're
just both going for it, and they're going to land somewhere, and he landed on the guy's ankle.
Yeah.
And it's grim. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But again, you can't punish someone on the severity of an injury, and I don't think that's what happened.
No,
I think the VAR just took it on themselves to go, if you slow this down, it looks really bad.
Yeah, it's something we've seen in the Premier League for a number of years.
It was kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going back a little way here, but you go back to Balbuena got a red card for West Ham against Chelsea back in 2020, where all he's done is clear the ball, and his foot lands on Werner in the similar manner.
Him with the studs. Yeah, the studs are on the bottom of the boot.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's these sort of things can happen when those boots are designed like that, and so it's another one of those where you've just seen the studs have gone into someone, but yeah, I do agree with you on another day that it probably shouldn't have been a red card, but that doesn't justify everything
Oh
we've
no,
seen
no,
in
no,
the
no.
week since.
I mean, firstly the reasons for it are like really vague, and
Oh, the wish-washy statements we've had over the last 2 days have just been.
the thing is, it's the very nature of it is like contradictory because according to the rulings, the disciplinary rulings from FIFA themselves, they've got an article in there that says they have the right to suspend bans,
Mhm.
but they've also got a line in there that says red cards um, lead to an automatic suspension. So
Mhm.
immediately you've got a contradiction
Yeah,
there.
which isn't really
You
helpful.
can't have them both. Um, and so why is it this? There's been 13 reds in this World Cup. That's
Mhm.
the only one that's been overturned.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think they'd be able to do it if, for example, Balogun covered his mouth and got sent off like that.
No.
I
No.
think, as iffy as that ruling is, that would have been even more blatant than
Yeah. Yeah. No. The
what
two
they've
instances
ended
we've
up
seen
doing.
where that's happened, they have been cut and dry cases. So yeah, if it was,
Yeah.
then yeah, no, there would be more.
And they kind of set a precedent, FIFA, because they did the same with Ronaldo pre-tournament.
Mhm.
And Moises Caicedo had a suspension taken away. Nicolas Otamendi also got a sending off like the game before the finals, and then
Mhm.
they kind of said, "Oh, you know what? If it leads into the tournament itself, we'll let you off,"
Yeah.
which is bullshit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why
Like,
Rafa Leao as well in the friendly before, and I know he wouldn't get a suspension from a friendly, but yeah, they completely ignored that because yeah, it was a violent conduct thing. But yeah, so they didn't help themselves from the start with that, and
but also, I think we kind of agreed that if Ronaldo wasn't involved in that, that they wouldn't have, you know, sought a way to get him to play.
yeah, yeah. I know it's obviously borderline conspiracy with that sort of thinking, but I do agree with it. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
plenty of
but
evidence
I
to
think
point.
loads of people have made the same point, where FIFA are trying to not manufacture stuff, but they kind of just do what they want. In that, the way they shoehorned into Miami into the Club World Cup,
Yeah.
um, things like that,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
they
messy and
want the superstars and the best of the best there, and if they need to bend the rules to do that, they'll do it and try and justify it in how they justify things. But with how Infantino has publicized himself over the last tech decade that he's been in charge now, it's always going to sort of lead to this in the way that the explanations are done. I mean, the statement FIFA put out about an hour before kickoff yesterday was so like just word salad nothingness. It was ridiculous. I think the one line that stood out to me was we've taken into account all the sort of differences and everything else involving this red card, but then didn't go on to explain what those circumstances were for that to be a
that
thing.
was the thing. They explained it without explaining it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they made their points, but they put no evidence or explanation there for it. So
There wasn't like an actual reason why they did what they did.
no, no. And then taking a jab at UEFA as during the statement as well, which is so strange to us. Oh yeah, they do it all the time across the leagues during the season. It's like, well, yeah, because it's a 38 game season and everything else. There are
But
weeks between
they
games.
have an appeal system,
Yeah, there's a reason they
which
have an
doesn't
appeal
actually
system.
exist at a World
Hmm.
Cup for whatever
No,
reason.
even though they're trying to manufacture one within a few days, and
But also, that wouldn't have passed an appeal
no,
in the Prem. No
no,
way.
not a
'Cause I
chance.
think as
Yeah.
soon as VAR get involved, there's no appeal in that.
No, unless they openly admit they've made a complete error, which I think only happened once this season where a VAR red card was rescinded. But
Mm.
yeah, it's the little like other things as well. The fact that it was revealed they fined him, the fact that they've not rescinded the red card, they're keeping it as a ban, suggests okay, you still think
Yeah,
it was a red
it's
card.
basically like the World Cup is more important. Play this World Cup game and then miss out an irrelevant qualifier.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh,
fine.
you're not going to play a Gold Cup game next year. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no, it has just made a complete mockery, and it's so funny that it's come from Donald Trump sort of basically outing Infantino publicly. Like there's a thinking in my brain that Infantino and him have had this conversation, and Infantino's pretty much told him, "Hush, hush, don't make a big thing out of this. We'll give you what you want if you don't." And Trump's just come out of press conference and just said, "I did it. I'm the best president. I've got our best player playing again. I am all powerful. Everything else is like right."
That he is as horrible a man as he is quite funny.
Yeah, it's sort of similar camo always was in with Boris. Like, I don't want to find him funny because he is a deplorable human being, but just by sheer
He
coincidence, he's not trying to be funny either, which is what makes it even worse. But
him pretending to know football is just
yeah,
like. Has he actually played golf with Harry Kane? I feel like I would have known about that. That's a lie, right?
I don't remember that being publicised.
Harry Kane playing golf with the American president? No way.
No, Harry Kane doesn't seem like the type of person who would go against him. I'm saying that without knowing if that's true or not. But
So yeah, some of the quotes. So some of the quotes I've had to write them down because they're so
yeah,
good.
I'm glad you've got them because yeah,
It's like I understand sports really well. And he said it wasn't even a foul. Like it was
yeah,
definitely a foul. You got to give a
yeah,
foul
yeah.
for that.
One.
Then he called out the ref for being suspect. I don't know what that was actually based on.
Yeah, that was a. No, yeah, look back on all his games. He's dodgy referee. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and he called it unfair. Which I've just found odd. And he was like, how do you suspend him for a game that hasn't been played yet? I'm like, well,
Well,
I mean, yeah. What do you want him to do? Go back in time and not play
yeah,
the game?
yeah,
Like, what's the
yeah.
alternative to that? This doesn't make any sense. And then just like most of that, it's not really a rant, but most of his sort of parading himself as the reason why the thing got overturned. Most of that mini speech, was based on ratings and how good the tournament was. So he's
Yeah,
just a rambling nonsense there,
yeah. I think that is the
to put
perfect way
it
up there.
mildly.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's the one. Well, obviously with the result at the end yesterday. I mean, we haven't quite spoken about the game yet, but I mean, before the game, I like a week ago, I had no feeling towards Belgium, positive or negative whatsoever. They're just the most.
I was kind of, yeah, I was kind of thinking, I don't like it when the host nations do too well because I
Mhm.
think they're potentially treated well, as we've seen in the last
Yeah.
few days. Um, but I think them being dumped out by America would have been very funny.
Yeah, there's a bit of
Because that
storyline
that
there as well.
squad has its flaws. It's not as
Mm.
good as it used to be, but
No,
there's still loads of good players in there.
yeah, the names are there, and then there's storyline from them knocking USA out in 2014 as well. So I know the actual
Yeah,
proper soccer fans in the USA knew that and wanted revenge for that, and so that was a nice story there, which would have made as a neutral, it would have just made it a great game to watch. But obviously that's completely changed now, and I became
I,
someone who really wanted to see Belgium win last night.
it would have
Which
set up a great quarter with Spain as well, which
yeah,
that would have
exactly,
been
yeah.
that would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and so that basically flipped, and it turned into a don't really care who wins into a complete hate watch experience
Mm.
where like we need football justice to prevail like tonight because the sense was and still may be that if America had won that game, Belgium would have like taken them to court
Oh yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
And
That was
I think they're still intending to go to court over this.
Yeah, yeah, as they should as well. I think Cass will definitely be hearing their statements at some point. I mean, you don't fly your president over to the country for that sort of thing, and you're not going to take
Yeah,
it any further just because you've won the game. Like it was a complete mockery, and the nice thing it has led to is well, the massive turn on to Infantino now. I think it always looked like he was going to be re-elected next year, sort of unopposed. Whereas now there's so much heat on him that
yeah,
but big names who work in FIFA are starting to turn against him. I mean, Jurgen Klopp, who obviously since we last recorded has been not officially announced yet, but pretty much announced as the next Germany manager, has gone in on Infantino this
Yeah.
week, saying he has no leg to stand on anymore and needs to resign, which will be very interesting if he actually hears those sort of statements. Because to me, from what I've experienced of him, there's not a chance he will die with he'll have to be killed before he resigns type thing. So yeah, whether that's going to go anywhere above this, I don't know. Hopefully, the story develops a bit more because
Yeah, I
I
don't
like
think they'll
seeing
kill
that.
him. No,
No, oh,
no.
strange. Yeah, I mean, even Sepp Blatter put a statement out this week, and
Yeah,
when
that should be like the litmus test. Like if
exactly,
everyone's siding with Sepp Blatter, you're a bit wrong,
yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah, that's some of my favourite tweets this week. Is like, at least his corruption was old school corruption, brown envelope corruption, where the football wasn't really affected by it. It was just a money making scheme. Whereas Infantino's corruption just affects us all. So we don't like that sort of corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We'll go bring back Mr. Platt, which is an insane thing to be saying. In 2015, would not believe that.
Because when Blatter left, we rejoiced.
Oh yeah,
It was a
yeah.
great moment. Like he's finally gone, and
Yeah.
football's healing.
Mm. And I think I've said it so many times on this pod as well. When Infantino was brought in, he was so convincing. I was like, oh, this guy's
But
he
he'd been a
knows football.
fine UEFA president,
Mm.
as far as I remember, anyway. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but maybe once you get in those circles and you realise what you can do with all that power.
yeah.
Is that
I
right?
mean, there's so many sayings from all through history about how much money and power corrupts the uncorruptible. It is a shame, and the fact we're seeing it so cut and dry, blatant, and they're just
I
denying
think
everything that's in front of their faces. It's
the fact that this is just colliding with the USA World Cup, who are governed by Donald Trump, is just creating a bigger mess than it would have been. It probably would have been messy anyway.
yeah,
But and I remember way back when we kind of foresaw this chaos with FIFA and Trump, and I said I tried to give the benefit of the doubt to FIFA and Infantino as much as I could, saying, I think if with giving Trump the peace prize and stuff like that, buttering him up ahead of the World Cup, and I'm thinking, well, if this is what they have to do to make sure that this tournament runs smoothly, then fair enough. I can sleep easy with regards to their actions. Like, this is a price worth paying. Like, this is fine. And what's happened is that just hasn't that hasn't happened. It hasn't been smooth. What with how they've treated Iran, and some of the fans coming in haven't been able to come in.
their own referees, yeah,
The
whatnot. That
referee didn't come in. All the visa issues with that. Um, the the way that they're now actively basically in cahoots with each other
mm.
is just another level of that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it should be the position of the governing body to like be as neutral as possible.
hmm
Like, and they've gone so far the other way in continuing to do whatever Trump wants, in including like getting him to present the trophy to the winning team, which is going to be an eyesore and a
yeah,
half
yeah,
in a couple of weeks.
hmm
Um, and it's like I thought they were going to keep him at arm's length, and then when the tournament happens, it will kind of be normal.
mm.
And clearly, their mission to be nice to Trump is it's not a World Cup related thing. It's a FIFA thing. They want to make sure FIFA's image is
Mm.
seen positively by him all the
Yeah,
time, which is
yeah,
just
yeah.
the wrong priority.
Mm.
And now we're seeing it for what it is, which I'm glad about in a way,
Yeah,
because
yeah, because this was, I mean, I was always of the opinion this was always going to happen. Like, as soon as you let Trump get any sort of inkling in your organization, he is just going to bulldoze his way through. And if you don't pick his way, he's going to make life really difficult for you. And that was always going to be the case. And we've seen it now. And yeah, it's another. I did hint at this when I said I didn't want the USA to do well, just to spite him, and it's happened in the most exceptional way that he has basically fired up the Belgian side, who have been really average in this tournament
do you
so
know
far.
what? They would not have played that well
No,
if this didn't
I
happen.
mean,
No way.
considering they dropped Doku and De Bruyne as well, like, they were like Rudy Garcia is not that good of a manager. Like, he has had his CV is littered with some horrific stints, and the fact they've made him look like a genius by dropping De Bruyne and Doku for this game and completely destroying the USA is just testament to how much this must have fired them up and how like poorly the thought out Trump has been with this in terms of sport is just going to if you give the opposition a reason more reasons to want to beat you then they will try and use that.
There was a great tweet that I spotted in the build up to this game where basically they were saying, imagine that we had to see the reaction of Senegal to this,
Oh
who
yeah,
who were
yeah, yeah.
who were not long removed from disgracing AFCON.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That yeah. To see how they would have played this out, would have been absolute cinema. Like, yeah,
I think they would have screwed that up. I think.
yeah, they probably would have taken it too far, and yeah, the sympathy wouldn't have been so strong as it has been with Belgium. So yeah, yeah, there's every possibility, but it would have been entertaining at least, which is
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely would have been.
Hmm.
But yeah, we've got the result we wanted. I've got a question to ask you.
Hmm.
Whether I might be being too harsh here, but I don't know. Do you think Mauricio Pochettino could have gone? You know what? We're just not going to play Balogun today.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people theorise this, and I do think there are managers out there who would have done that. I think there are those who would look at just sporting integrity as the above all and would have just we've they have a sub striker who's okay enough to do that. So to sort of appease everyone else, yes, some managers would have done that. Whereas there are other great managers out there like Pochettino who would have done what Pochettino did. So I think it was a very tough spot for him to be put in because if you're being allowed the opportunity to play your striker who has scored a lot of goals for you in this tournament and there's nothing stopping you from doing that and you want to win, that's always the feeling that
Mm.
managers will have, then you'd have to sort of I understand the thinking of you have to sort of do it just to see what would happen with him playing because if you then don't play him and go out and lose you're going to get a bit more of the blame, but again there'll be a thinking of that shouldn't
But
matter.
he would have earned the respect of the
Exactly, yeah,
majority.
yeah. So that's the sort of tough position he was put in. But I think having seen what Pochettino's like as when he was during his time as Chelsea manager, there was no way he was not going to play Balogun as soon as he was told he could play him. Because during his entire time as US boss, he has sadly played the part a bit too well in the sense of he's not fought back against the terrible things that country has done and things like that. He's been a bit
Mm.
more of a mouthpiece than I would have liked, which is a bit of a shame because I think there were some good things that Pochettino said during his time at Chelsea, where he is clearly a very good guy. It just doesn't do the right things there all the time. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people debate, and I'll pose a question back to you. If this was England, and I won't go as far as say it's Harry Kane, because obviously Balogun's not the level of Harry Kane, but say it
Yeah.
is one of our key players who we're in a position where we can play them now, even though they should be suspended. I know annoyingly Kwanzaa's not as important enough to put that across for it to have the same effect, but someone who like a stalwart like Mark Gahey or someone like that had that been the situation there, would you like Tuchel to have played him, and do you think he would have done?
I, as a fan, I would feel dirty winning like that.
Yeah,
Um, am I going to care once the match starts and we go on and win a game with the player that probably shouldn't be playing? No.
yeah,
So, um, because I mean, because under FIFA's eyes, America haven't done anything wrong at all.
well, yeah. I mean, the stance we're in now with that having happened, I'd be quite happy to see Gerard Constance be overturned because it should be. I know it's more of a foul than Balogun's one, but if you're allowing appeals and you're allowing
That's the thing.
then
That's the what's the phrase? That's the Pandora's box that they've opened
yes, yeah,
with
exactly,
this.
yeah.
Um,
Every federation is
because
going to.
because it's so vague. It's not
Mhm.
like, oh, it's a very specific type of offence or something.
Yeah,
It's just like there was some people were saying, oh, the way that the VAR came to their decision, they showed it in slow mo. Of course, they're going to show it in slow
yeah,
mo.
yeah. But you see it full speed, you see a slow mo, and you see a still. Like that's happened every time the
Yeah,
VAR.
and the referee was still in a position to go, no,
Yeah, yeah. Like
you know.
we have actually seen referees stick to decisions during this tournament. So yeah, there's every reason why he could have stuck with it this time as
Yeah,
well.
ironically enough, including the referee we had on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's hypothetical and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But
No.
we would never stoop so low, right?
No, well, I mean, I'm in the position where it's like Tuchel wouldn't do that. It's like I have no proof of that. He obviously he comes across wonderfully in everything, but I don't know what his sporting brain is like in the sense of what like having an advantage given to you, even though it's not really an advantage, but having something that would disadvantage you being.
I think it's whether I think it's however big the sense of injustice is,
Yeah,
and this just looked like that decision went against US, and another ref wouldn't have given that, and plenty of other refs would have given it, and it
yeah,
just didn't go the way they wanted. That's not
yeah.
injustice.
No,
That's
football has grey areas.
even me as someone who didn't think that was worthy of a red. I'm like, you've got to just take the red
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you can see why they've called it that way.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I mean we've got this farcical situation where France are appealing a yellow
yeah.
so that Michael Elise doesn't potentially miss a semi-final or a final now.
Well, yeah,
Or
we're
have they got rid of getting? Are they wiping them at the quarters again?
no, they're not. We have four players who could be banned for the semi-final. We've got Bellingham, O'Reilly,
Yeah,
Rice.
so you can be banned for the semi,
Yeah, yeah.
but
You
can you be
can't be banned
banned?
for the final anymore. Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got rid of getting banned for the final, but yeah, you can be banned
but
for the semis.
you can see why it's worthy of an appeal. You
Oh,
don't want.
100%. Yeah, because yellow
Um,
cards are even more grey areas
I
than the
mean,
red
yeah,
would be.
I mean, if Trump like sees how this is unfair, wait till he sees the yellow card rules.
Yeah.
They are stupid. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
to have two yellows means you're banned is just
Mm.
insane.
Especially in an expanded tournament as well. It is
Well,
ridiculous.
because as well because basically if you get two yellow cards in 3 or 4 matches, that's the same as getting a red card in one of them,
Yeah,
which
same
is just
process. Yeah.
what's that?
No, exactly. Yeah,
That's not the same thing at all.
no.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Let's not go into that because we'll be here all day. I hate that rule.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just been a really unsavoury episode. I don't think we've heard the end of it. I'm just glad that Belgium won because it'd be absolute chaos if they didn't.
yeah. It's the sort of thing where, as footballing fans, we didn't want this narrative to continue in the tournament type thing. Like, yeah, let it continue now. Now USA are out and they haven't benefited from this decision at all. So football can
And
now be the focus
I
again.
promise you, like if something similar happens today, they won't act the same.
No.
Probably. Although I can see them treating Messi in a
Yeah. Yeah.
in a different way.
Yeah.
People
No.
are saying he got away with that one against Algeria.
Yeah. The little step
I
on the
don't. I
Victories.
don't know if that was. I thought a lot was made of that. I think a lot of people would love to see Messi getting red carded.
Oh, of
I
course,
think.
yeah. I did see a few American football fans who I follow were making that comparison with that Messi foul that he got away with and Balogun didn't. But again, that's the grey areas you're going to get with those sort of tackles. But yeah,
But
it would have been interesting. It will be interesting to see if we are put in this situation again because there's still plenty of games left to play.
because also, like obviously, like we said, with France appealing Elise's yellow, there's loads of daft yellows going around.
Oh yeah, I mean Declan Rice got booked within the first 30 seconds against
I mean,
Mexico.
I was fuming with that, as you
I know
know.
you were, yeah. I was only reminded of that when I watched the highlights earlier yesterday. Oh yeah, that I remember having a long conversation with you about.
I'm like,
Yeah.
like the bloke put his head at knee
Yeah.
height. Like, what you into? It
Yeah. But,
was a foul, yeah, but yellow is ridiculous.
I mean,
Um,
another thing with FIFA as well. I mean, we I don't think we had this in our notes, but I'd like to touch on it. Is the complete farce they made of the kickoff time for our game over that sort of 12 hours where our game was moved to 7 p.m. and then back again was just
Yeah.
ridiculous to see. And I know we learned afterwards that our prime minister stepped in and had to say, yeah, no, we've spent a lot of money in allowing the pubs to be open. We can't take that back now. So
I don't. Well,
I
that's
don't
not
think
the
that would have
official
played a big
line.
part. Oh yeah, I don't think that would have. I think it was probably more the sporting integrity.
He said. I think the line was that he felt that Mexico were basically gaining an advantage from that, and
yeah.
he said to the FA, "Stand your ground. Do not let them change this kickoff time." And
Yeah.
that's essentially what the delay was. Because if the FA were like, "Yeah, we'll have it at 7,"
Yeah.
I think that's what would have happened.
Yeah, then to give the props to the Mexico team there and their association as well, they stood their ground as well. They weren't having it
Well,
either. Like,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they were calling for it
no, exactly. Yeah, it
either.
was because of the threat of the electrical storm, which obviously did delay the game for an hour.
I found it so weird that the response to the storms potentially happening is to bring it to play it earlier.
Yeah,
I don't
I think in
understand
the
that.
theory in that was that if you delay them sort of going the other way, then that would cause more problems. Where if you bring it forward to a time where there isn't a storm forecast,
I
you can
guess
get the
because it
game
was at
played.
the end of the day
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So that would have been their thinking. But the fact they tried to do it just over 48 hours before kickoff was
Well,
just
you got to have an accurate forecast, though, don't you?
you do. But you've also got a game being played in an area where there'd been thunderstorms almost every
Yeah,
other day.
that's the thing. The exact same thing had happened multiple times in this tournament, and it was just, well, if it happens during the game, then it gets delayed.
Yeah.
No questions asked, and then suddenly it's like, well, maybe we'll change the kickoff time.
Mm. Yeah, not to
Um,
forget all the journalists and fans who have been set up in the US for the entire tournament because that's where every other game England are playing a set.
yeah,
And
and
wanting
also loads of fans would have missed that
yeah, exactly.
getting
Yeah,
into
that's a good
Mexico
point.
City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because their flights would have been landing into the city probably about 6 hours before the 1 a.m. Well, obviously 1 a.m. UK time kickoff. So
if
that would
things ran smoothly, you know what
have.
things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But yeah, it was
So
just it's insane how that sort of thinking is. They're just so snap-handed
just
with it.
stick to whatever protocol you've got.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. As a Chelsea fan who sat through a near 3 hour delay when Chelsea Benfica had 2 minutes of football left to play was last summer in the Club World Cup. We knew this was going to happen. This was always a threat. So you just got to
it's
get on
almost
with it.
if it's a bad location for a summer World Cup.
Yeah, strange
Just
that,
putting
isn't
that out there as well.
it? But yeah, no, it's good. It didn't have an effect on anybody, and yeah, I imagine there will be more games where this is probably going to happen. But I mean, we're
Well, there's
playing
not
in
many to go.
yeah,
In
we're playing in
fairness,
Miami next, which is famously a very wet
well,
city. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's going to be great fun. But yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed the late finishes.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely enjoyed it.
I think
Um,
I put out. Well, I shared the video of the John Stones thing on my social media last night, but I think that having that game at the time it did just added to the experience completely. I mean, I'm
yeah, but
suffering
also
still now, but
it's a good way to bond with people
exactly,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
We don't have scenarios like this
No,
usually.
no, exactly. And then all the clips of there's so many clips going around online where some parents are waking up their children, or the videos of children in their school watching the rerun, having not known
Yeah.
the result. It's just yeah, all those little extra bits you get from an overnight game has just been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm so glad they stuck with it because as much helpful it would have been to have the game at 7 for my life, it would have been yeah, but I couldn't even see beyond that because I'd already made my bed that I was going to have a long night and stay up, and it was going to be a great
But
experience.
I mean, yeah, but like for example, in the company that we were in, we're not going to fall asleep at the pub.
No, of course, exactly. Yeah,
You know,
I think I said it during the game. It's like it feels like it's 7 in the afternoon right now, even though it was 3 in the morning. Like I was.
I mean, to be honest, my sleep's been so bad that whole day felt like a Saturday, and it wasn't. It was
Oh
Monday
yeah, yeah.
morning.
The amount of times I said yesterday is it's Monday by the way. It was like so yeah. It's but no, it was wonderful, and it's a shame. I don't. Well, it's not a shame because it's quite nice. We're going to be kicking off at well. Our game could still go into the early hours of Sunday morning on Saturday if we go to extra
Yeah.
time and penalties. So yeah, it's
And
nice.
and if we win, we've got a lovely 2 a.m. kickoff to enjoy
Of
afterwards.
course, yeah, that's going to be great. That, yeah.
I I I don't like missing football, but I will not want to see anything if we lose.
Oh
If we,
no, 100% not. Yeah, not a
and
chance.
that'll be the first game I completely miss.
Mm.
So yeah, don't screw it up, lads.
Mm. You sound like
Um,
Jesus.
I'm now nervous just from just talking about it.
Well, I had great fun during the first 5 minutes of the game, trying to tell you to calm down because they'd passed the halfway line with the ball. It's like, come on, bro.
I started rocking way too early.
Yeah, and then you calmed down quite nicely even before we started playing well. So yeah,
Yeah,
I understand it. It's football. It makes your emotions do mad things.
indeed. Right. Now, on this podcast, we've made a mess of top fives and stuff like that, and they've, gone on for hours and hours. So I'm going into this next section with a bit of trepidation.
Okay.
But I thought it would be nice to have a look at the worst games of this tournament.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Thinking behind it was I've seen that the Athletic are ranking each game at this World Cup,
Hmm.
and their list of the best games is I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're playing at actually. Uh,
It's always fun with opinions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I thought we could flip that and we can hate on the worst games that we've experienced during this tournament.
Hmm.
Do you want to guess what their best game so far is?
Oh. Um. Well, the ones in my mind are Cape Verde, Argentina, or England v Mexico. The one of those two.
It is one of those two.
The first one I said, Argentina
It
game.
is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
number one.
Hmm.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm kind
Okay.
of with that. Personally, I enjoyed Portugal Croatia a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if you factor in the moments that Argentina
Yeah.
game
And
had,
the complete unexpectedness of it all as well. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Definitely comes
and the chance that Argentina might get dumped out by Cape Verde.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's fair enough.
Hmm.
Portugal Croatia is down in sixth.
Wow. I mean, obviously, I'm not able to pluck every game from the top of my head, but yeah, I would have had that
Yeah,
higher.
I mean the number five is an absolute travesty.
What have they gone with?
Cape Verde nil, Saudi Arabia nil.
Oh, ooh.
This is ridiculous
I was
because
gonna
they've
say, not even
based it
they
they
thought was
they've
much higher than that.
they've based it entirely on basically the post-match celebrations and the fact
Yeah,
that Cape
so
Verde have gone through
mm,
in from the group stage to the knockouts. That's got nothing to do with the game. That's got nothing to do with what this article is supposed to
yeah,
be.
it should be whistle to whistle. There's nothing.
Um, fifth is ridiculous. I mean, case in point, like just they've done themselves over here because down in where is it? Down in 18th place is Colombia Portugal, which also ended 0-0.
Mm,
And as I said last time, it's one of the best 0-0s that I've ever seen.
yeah,
And the first line in this section, they've ranked it 18th, and they've said you will be hard pressed to find a more engaging 0-0. And they've put a 0-0 in fifth.
so they put it 13
I,
places lower than a nil
I,
nil.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know what they're doing.
is it one of those articles where they've got multiple authors, so they've just not
I
got it?
would I would imagine so. I don't know
Yeah,
what poor
I
soul
know
would have
there should be
to.
some synergy there and a head editor on all of it that should be able to clear that sort of thing up.
Oh,
But
it's only one guy on the byline.
oh well then, so
Um,
yeah, if it's the same guy, right?
there. I didn't watch all of this match. Do you want to have a guess at what they've gone on for the worst match so far in
Worst.
94th place?
Ooh, well, it's obviously not England Ghana. Then even I wouldn't put that as my worst.
That is low. That
Yeah,
is
it should be.
fourth last.
Yeah, yeah, because that's even though we weren't watching it through neutral eyes, I could understand how that was a very boring
Yeah,
game.
I think the only thing that made it watchable was the fact that I wanted England to win.
Yeah, yeah, and
And bar maybe a couple chances in the second half, that
yeah,
was a snooze fest.
without that Nico O'Reilly Kane double miss, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
couldn't give you much more. See, this is really testing my because unsurprisingly these bad games are very forgettable, so I don't remember them. I was looking at my wall chart before we went in, and even some of the results, like yeah, I can't remember a thing that happened in that, so I'm not even willing to give you a guess. What have they gone for?
You're so boring.
Ow.
All right, fine. 94th place, they've gone for Haiti nil, Scotland 1.
Oh,
Which
wow.
I think maybe if you take out the Scotland tension of it, maybe. They've justified it saying there were 44,000 four shots on target.
Yeah, I mean the statistic of Scotland not having a shot on target after that goal for the rest
That's
of
so
until,
bad, isn't it?
very late on in the Brazil game is
Yeah.
criminal. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said on this pod already. I'm in no position to reflect on that game with any sort of nuance because I don't remember it most of it. So
Well, we did miss most of the second half.
yeah, we did leave it last time. You're right, but
Yeah. So some of their worst games are actually fair enough. Including in 88th place, Portugal nil, Spain 1,
yeah, that was going to be the one I was
which
going
I was expecting to find in that sort of area.
Yeah.
I wrote down some of my least favourite.
Hmm.
And I don't know, you might agree with me, you might not. I also had a look at my wall chart earlier.
Mm.
Um, Mexico versus South Korea,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which was a group stage match where I literally fell asleep.
Hmm.
Really just bad.
Mm.
Just nothing happening.
It took far too long to get going that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the only goal in that game.
Mm.
Paraguay Australia, which admittedly I didn't watch
Mm.
uh, because I was watching USA Turkey.
Yeah. No,
But then even the highlights were dreary.
I think it's the shortest one on iPlayer. I think I've seen that read. Yeah, it's the short
Yeah.
package. But
Um,
that's one I've seen by a lot of people say that's the worst game. But like you, I didn't watch that. So
and another, sort of nail in the coffin for the 48 team format where they
yeah,
both knew that they were going through.
mm.
Um, Ghana v Panama,
Yeah,
which but for a last minute winner was absolutely terrible.
it was. Yeah, yeah. Again, I was.
Athletic have put that quite low as well,
Mm.
86th place.
Yeah, no, I don't remember a lot of that game.
Um, and I think that was the one where you said John Champion didn't go for it for the winner.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did.
And
I was like,
maybe on reflection, justifiably so.
yeah, yeah. He was probably quite bored himself.
Oh, he's won it. I can go home now. Lovely.
Mm.
Um, I've picked a couple of last 32 matches as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'll remember.
South Africa, Canada being one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that was a
Just
quite big
like,
game for all, yeah.
just like flip a coin, lads.
Mm,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
it got to that stage. I'm glad they actually won it on the pitch in the end, in the
Yeah,
90. If
I'm,
that went to extra time, I would have been like, Jesus.
I'm very annoyingly the type of person who would like every game to go to penalties. I just love penalties that much. But
Yeah,
even
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I'd been barely paying attention, so I'm just going to sit on my phone for the next 30 minutes if it does
The
go.
fun of extra time is the hope that it goes all the way,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we said, well, we haven't recorded since, but yeah, when Belgium got that penalty against Senegal in the 125th minute, by the time they finally took it, was so heart wrenching because we had put
Yeah.
ourselves through that whole extra time, and
And it
yeah.
would have been so fun because everyone was still out after England had won.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the probably room were going to stay open for the penalties, but yeah, no, we didn't quite get that, which is a shame.
Would have been great. And then the other one, I don't know if I'm being super harsh on this, but part of my reasoning for hating this game was that I stayed up to watch the 4 a.m. kickoff, which was Switzerland Algeria.
Yeah, that's probably the only game I've not seen apart from the highlights from the knockout.
It was a struggle, to put
It,
it
it
lightly.
It's. I was thinking this the other day. It's quite funny how there are some teams in this World Cup who I have not seen play like at all. Like watching Australia Egypt the other day was so strange to me. It's like Australia have not played at a time that I have put myself through to watch yet. I think Algeria are another one of those teams
I
as
think
well.
I think I missed all of Jordan's group stage games
Yeah, yeah,
live.
yeah. They were another team, yeah, who were for a UK sort of kickoff time were
I
completely
think
out.
they had, yeah, they were all post 12 a.m.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, but didn't miss much, sadly.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Switzerland, Algeria, they scored early, Switzerland, and then I was just ready for the game to end. There was a nice open goal miss at the end,
Mm.
but that wasn't enough. It
No.
was it was it was so bright outside when that game ended.
Yeah, yeah.
Brighter than it was on Monday morning.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, I was very glad to
just
avoid
gone.
that feeling.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. You got any other games you really didn't enjoy?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head ones that there have been. I mean, of course, there's games where the feeling of the moment was much better than the actual game itself. Like I know Spain Cape Verde, we've said was very exciting 0-0. That's one that should be a lot higher than the Saudi Arabia Cape Verde game in their
Yeah, but
place.
I think if that was two other teams, that'd have been really boring.
Yeah, of course. But that's what makes
It
football, isn't it? The
yeah
storylines and everything else can make nil-nils exciting. But I will say, I know it was again another good story and good result, but Portugal Congo was a little bit like 'cause it was again just Congo playing not quite as heavily defensive as Ghana did, but they once they got their goal, nothing really happened after that. I mean, Congo did threaten maybe once, but Portugal never looked like scoring for whatever
yeah,
reason.
and they had one disallowed, and that was it, wasn't it?
Mm, yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to see where they've put that. They've put that in 71st, so quite
Yeah,
low.
it's quite low.
I think they've been really harsh here. Third last, the opening game,
Hmm.
Mexico South Africa,
A game with three
which
red cards in it. That's
three red cards is the
Hmm.
opening game. Is
Yeah.
they've got the mariachi band has come out to
Yeah,
celebrate the
Mexico
goals.
scored. Yeah, Quinones scored some great goals to open the tournament.
They've
Yeah.
justified it by saying that South Africa had an XG of 0.07,
Mm.
which I don't care for.
No.
Obviously, XG is a nonsense, as we know.
Hey.
And but I thoroughly enjoyed it
Yeah.
because also that last red card was complete ridiculousness.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No,
I'm surprised FIFA didn't step in and change it.
huh? Yeah. South Africa needed a stronger leader. Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the results here, and a lot of them are terrible scorelines. But then I'm remembering that they were quite good scores. Like I'm seeing Turkey against Paraguay 1-0, but that was
That was a great game.
yeah.
That was great
Paraguay.
even before the red. That
Yeah,
was a great
yeah,
game.
you can't say anything on that. Then you've got Belgium, Iran 0-0 is one that's standing out to me. Don't remember
That
that
was a good.
being.
I found that all right.
Yeah,
Good. There was that disallowed goal that Iran had,
yes, yeah.
which was
So, yeah,
dramatic.
it was a fingernail offside, wasn't it? Yeah,
No, it was an arse.
it was. Yeah, that's it. Yes,
It was
yeah.
Taremi's arse.
I remember now. Yeah, all the memes go around. It's like you can be offside now because you got too much cake. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
um. Yeah. But it's never based on goals.
No,
Like some of the 0-0s have been great.
yeah,
Like we said, Spain, Cape Verde,
hmm
Portugal, Colombia,
yeah,
the Curacao one, Ecuador,
yeah.
Curacao. That was a good
Yeah, that
0-0.
was a 0-0. Yeah. One I have remembered now that I do think was a poor game. And you might disagree a little bit. Is Morocco Scotland because after the Morocco goal,
Yeah.
Scotland could have played for two whole games and they didn't look like they were ever going to
Again,
score.
that's another one where there's a slight vested interest. Like you
Yeah.
kind of want Scotland to do something, and they
hmm
didn't. And the highlight of that game was, oh, was it a penalty? Like no,
Nah,
no, it
no, it
wasn't.
wasn't.
So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Oh,
well, I thought
Czechia, South Africa. I remember sitting through that. That was South Africa did wake up quite later on in the game. Probably should have gone.
that is second last
Is it?
in the Athletic.
Yeah.
Um,
Another game where South Africa, for some reason, just they're so disjointed. But
Group A is absolutely
yeah.
woeful in this.
Czechia really sort of showed why they should not have been in this tournament. How on earth they made it, I'll never know. But
Should have been Denmark, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
But yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Mm.
And yeah, there's not much more I can moan about this list, but I did think some of the top picks were a bit
Yeah.
wild. I mean,
Uh,
Spain Cape Verde's all the way down 34th.
Wow. Yeah, that's criminal. That's
I,
criminal.
I,
Cape Verde went on a break and everything and should have scored right at the end. Like, that was,
the,
I was on my feet.
placed higher than Spain Cape Verde, United States against Bosnia.
Right, yeah.
Nothing happened in that game
No.
apart from that red card that weren't a red.
Like the barometer for this list should be how excited Lee Dixon got for watching football, and that I've never heard that man be more excited than when Cape Verde are going on the attack in the final minute against Spain, and he's just loses all professionalism. It's just that's
It is one of the better moments in commentary. Shall we park this and discuss another bit of cool commentary that
Oh, we
we've
can.
been?
Yeah, we can. Well,
Yeah, because we can drone on for days and days without getting anywhere.
No.
But I know you wanted to bring this up because it has been the story of the tournament,
Yeah.
and it's none other than Bob the Cat.
Yeah, I can't believe we're in a position to praise Danny Murphy on commentary. I mean, it's not because of his tactical analysis or his footballing brain or anything like that. It's just he's become an accidental comedian over the last week. And it's the fact that every time him and Steve Bauer are on commentary now, they've made it a trilogy at this point, is just stemming from
It's like they're holding stuff back
yeah,
deliberately.
yeah.
And
Well,
now
the
we're
fact that
getting drip by drip. Like, I wonder what's going to happen next.
well, they've now set themselves up to very much keep this going because they've introduced a new character into the lore of Sister Mary, the other cat they had. It's like, well, everyone's going to want to know about that now. It's like, what are you doing? But yes, if you've somehow avoided this, I know a few people listen who won't be having the UK commentary for their games. And during who were Norway playing when this first came up? Was it
Was it a Norway game?
Yeah, because it was for Oscar Bob when he. That's how this stemmed. So it was either Norway France or Norway Senegal. I can't remember.
Not the Ivory Coast.
No,
Too...
it was definitely in the group stages still because yeah they've
The last game was France, but that was on ITV, so it must have been.
It must have been the Senegal game then. Yeah.
No, Senegal was late. That was a late night one.
Okay,
but it wasn't the first one. Was it?
Maybe it was Ivory Coast. Yeah, by the by, it doesn't really matter. But yeah,
I think it was. If it was a Norway game, it would have had to have been.
Yeah, because I mean, it stems from Oscar Bob doing something on the pitch, and just out of nowhere, Danny Murphy used to have a cat called Bob.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and Steve Bauer just immediately was like, "The game's not that bad." It was 0-0 at the time, but yeah, and then he just goes on to say how he escaped by jumping into a back of a post office van, and then didn't see him again for weeks. It's just like at the time, I remember the comments into you was like, Steve Bauer sounds like he wants to kill Danny Murphy because we didn't have the beauty of seeing their faces as they were doing it, and it just sounded like Steve Bauer was like, what on earth are you talking about? Why are you bringing this up during a game of football? And then like, I think about 6 hours after the game, BBC put out the camera view of them, and Danny Murphy, as he says, used to have a cat called Bob, just looks Steve Bauer in the eye as he explains everything else on top with these slightest of smirks on his face. It's like, he knows what he's doing.
He knows he's pissing him off for this.
He's saying the stupidest thing he could think of. And then I think halfway through he realises how stupid it is what he's saying because he just finds it so funny at the end of it. It's like, oh my goodness me, what on earth is going on here? Someone described it perfectly. It's like, this is the most text cricket commentary I've ever heard on a football broadcast. So the sort of thing the commentators will start talking about during like the 12th over when nothing's happened for ages. It's just, unbelievable bit of football commentary. And then just goes on and on. And the second part is when he brings up that they got him back, but he'd gone feral because he'd been missing for so long. They couldn't keep him anymore.
And he ended up in Preston.
Yeah, sent him away to Preston. And then he didn't give any further context to that. So the people kept phoning in again. It's like, why didn't you work hard? It's like, no. And the third part was, the game the other day. It's like, well, he tried to fight his sister Mary. And Steve Bauer just immediately goes, oh, there's another character in the story. It's like...
Also, can we just... Bob and Mary are awful names for cats.
I think that's what adds to the allure of it. Like what?
I can sort of see Bob, but Mary.
Bob's a fun word to say. So that fits for a cat. Yeah, but Mary.
Come on, Bobby. Mary's not. That's a person's name.
And that was going to be my next sort of transition. I was going to go into that quote there. Yeah. Though it's just. I think it's what you sort of get from these sort of tournaments. We were completely like. I mean, they punished us for years by putting people like Mark Lawrence and Jermaine Genius on co-coms where they weren't capable of this sort of thing. I know we've been doing this podcast nearly a year now, and Danny Murphy has taken the brunt of a lot of our complaints, but it's
not as much as others, to be fair.
No, of course not. I mean, his footballing analysis is very much on what he thinks should happen or how teams should approach things rather than what he's watching.
Yeah, he's like, why has he done that?
Yeah,
Well, it's a football match.
Exactly.
Made wrong decisions.
Analyze it rather than giving an alternative. But he's added some colour, which has been so funny. I know you mentioned this either last episode or the one before, but I think both broadcasters have done so well to build these relationships by keeping people together. In terms of having the same co-com with the lead commentator.
Well, it makes sense because otherwise it'd be chaos. They're going from city to city. And it's obviously a very vast World Cup in terms of the spread.
Yeah, no, exactly. And having some of the late games has meant we've been blessed by having normally working on radio but doing TV games of Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Their chemistry, because they've been doing the radio show together for years now, and you could just tell that I've never heard Chris Sutton come out of his shell even more on commentary than having Alistair Bruce Ball next to him. And they're just winding each other up. I can't remember annoyingly what game it was, but Bruce Ball was just winding Sutton up so much. I think Chris Sutton predicted the game to be either really boring or really good, and it went the other way. And Bruce Ball was like, you said this wasn't going to happen. Well, why is this happening, Chris? Why have you got that wrong? Yeah, wonderful. So I think that's the sort of thing that this has allowed to happen. Like the fact that Steve Barr and Danny Murphy have been working together on all these games has meant that you're just in a position where you can just say,
They've all become double acts, which
exactly,
is
yeah, you can
great.
say
Yeah.
these silly things, and obviously some of them haven't worked, which is always going to happen because yeah, you've got some commentators who just won't blend together. But yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think the ones that are actually there tend to be the better ones,
yeah, yeah, of course, you'll have them
because
into
they're feeding off the atmosphere
hmm
itself.
yeah,
If there's one really big moan that I've got about this tournament is when BBC are doing studio based commentary, which
mhm, yeah,
on one
yeah,
hand is like needs must kind of thing. It's they're just not obviously just not able to put X amount of people out in the stadium, but
uh-huh, yeah,
it does take away from the broadcast
yeah,
in
certainly.
a very noticeable way.
Yeah, yeah, they're. I don't want to say it's the bottom of their barrel, but they're very much down to like their final people, and it's a game where they don't have anyone working for them who has some knowledge on these teams, like at least some knowledge further than anyone else would have.
I feel like it's based on what time the game kicks
Yeah,
off.
I think that is definitely it as well. Because if it is the studio-based ones, then yeah, you're not going to get many people sticking their hands up for the 5 a.m. games, especially when it's teams who aren't like that fanciful, which I think has been a ploy of part of the scheduling that they weren't going to put
Yeah,
any
but
of the
they're
games
still
for those
doing
times.
it now. Like
Yeah,
they did it
yeah, they
last
are. Yeah,
night,
you're right. Yeah, so
which is a bit.
mm,
I mean, I was shocked that they did it for a host nations game in the last 16. Very surprised that they were doing that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and the commentary's fine, but
mm,
but you can tell like when a goal goes in and they're not just feeding off the intense energy
yeah, yeah,
of the
and like
stadium.
middling bits of the game can feel like they're doing talk radio type style commentary. It's like, ah, come on, it's so late in the day here. You need to add something for me to like get engaged here.
Yeah.
Whereas if you I don't know if you've come across this, but I've really enjoyed clips of John Murray and Paul Robinson who've been doing the Five Live commentary.
Oh yeah.
They're at the games, and Paul Robinson's another one, like Joe Hart, who I want to give a word to in a minute as well. Now I've remembered that, but Paul Robinson, is someone who his punditry has not been amazing in the short time he's been doing it, but he's been really good on co-coms. I mean, John Murray's been doing that job for so long now. He's such a good commentator. I think
Mm.
he can bring anyone out of their shell. But Paul Robinson being there as well, they've both been brilliant on the sort of the brief clips I've seen on the England goals and things like that. I know, obviously, John Murray has no interest in how well England do. He's a Scottish man, very famously, but he can still put the passion into that as because he knows his core audience are going to be England supporters. So yeah, they've both been really good at that too.
Yeah, and yeah, and all the clips of them have been like borderline iconic. Like he knows how to portray the tension, and which
Yeah.
is obviously important in radio.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but then seeing that in because they're filming all their commentators, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's been a good
yeah,
addition over the years from sort of the media side of it. But yeah, it's the clip at the end of the Mexico game, isn't it, where John Murray looks like he's out on his feet, even though he has no vested interest. Just the press, the team
I
knows.
mean, they must have been there for ages doing
Mm.
all the prep and then the delay and
Oh
then
yeah, I mean, there's a clip of Guy Mowbray and Alan Shearer just dancing to the in-stadium music because they have nothing else to do, which is yeah, that must have been exhausting for them. But yeah, one final thing from the England game to bring up is just everything involving Joe Hart at the moment from. Because I don't think obviously we haven't spoken on here since the Congo game where his celebration from the equaliser has been clipped to death because it's just so ridiculous, just so out of just a guttural shout of yeah.
I'm not going to try and do it, but he
Oh,
did
that's
say actually multiple people said I did a very good impression of it on Monday night,
you did, yeah,
Monday
yeah. I
morning.
don't know if it was the added alcohol or anything else, but yeah, you were the only one who
Could
get
have been that, but I
Mm.
also thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you that too.
So
Yeah, but then everything. I don't think I can't remember the last time I've did this. I don't think I have it at all. But BBC released the entirety of the post-match analysis from the England game, and I sat through all of it when I got home yesterday, like all 40 minutes of
ah,
it, because it's got so many iconic moments. You've got Harry Kane's interview where his voice has gone, which has Rooney, Joe Hart, and Michael Richards
that's one of my favourite
just
things.
dying at it.
I will be quoting that for
Yeah,
years
yeah,
once I get the tone right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, next time I lose my voice, I lost my
mm.
voice a few weeks ago. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, could be
It's
perfect.
nowhere near as funny as
No,
that.
no, but on the video, you could sadly you can't see their reactions on the whole post match thing
Oh
they put
yeah.
out, but they haven't muted their mics, so you can hear them like trying to not laugh loudly because it's so brilliant. And they do the same thing for the Oasis celebration at the end, where Kelly Kate sort of says, "Oh, we're going to take this all in now." And you've obviously seen the video of them linking arms and celebrating, but their mics aren't muted for that either. So they're not actually singing it; they're mouthing it, and you can
I
hear
wasn't
them.
sure. There's a bit just before that where Micah Richards just goes, "Let's have a listen to this." Like, why are
Yeah,
you saying that?
yeah. Even though Kelly Kate set it up like 20 seconds ago, and there was silence, and then
She
he did
clearly set it up in a way. Right, we're going to be quiet for a bit.
yeah, and then
Micah just chimes in.
And so yeah, you've got all of that, and then John Pickford gives his interview where he references the Joe Hart and probably a player who shouldn't be named video from the 2011 Cup final where he just "it is decent," and Pickford just does it back, and Joe Hart's loving it. And I think Joe Hart has been such a standout from this tournament. He's gone really under the radar of his punditry this season because he's on shows like Final Score, or he'll be on a match of the day where maybe not that big of a game's happened, so he'll get the call for that sort of thing. But he has this character that we've spoken about where he's really entertaining, but he's also so good at his job, and
He's very good at doing keeper's perspective stuff.
exactly, yeah, which is a very good thing to have as a pundit. If you can do all the outfield stuff but add something else to it as well from a different viewpoint of the pitch, it's just brilliant. So I wanted to give him his props because it's been a big week for him, and I've been very impressed. Whereas on I think as well, I think Wayne Rooney's really come out of his shell too, because he was on the Spain-Portugal game last night, and right at the end of the England analysis.
I couldn't believe he was there.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't believe he was there.
Joe Hart and Micah Richards jokingly moaning near the end of the post-match analysis of the England games, like Kelly Casey going, "We're still waiting for Thomas Tuchel, by the way," and they're just like, "Oh, come on!" And then Rooney right at the end's like, "Well, I've got," because I think Kelly Casey says a line about people having to get up for work in the morning. And Rooney's like, "Yeah, I've got to start doing prep. I'm on the game tonight, so I'm going to have no time going to bed." But yeah, he's really come out of his shell as well. I think when you're sat next to Michael Richards and Joe Hart, it's hard not to sort of feed off their energy. But yeah, it's been a nice thing to see that we've got some pundits who can be good at their jobs. I know we moan a lot on here about people being
and it shows that these bad pundits just got to do better.
Exactly, it can
You
be done.
can do it. You're just shit. I'm being mean. I'd be terrible.
It's poignant, yeah.
But that's why I'm not one, and somehow you are. So you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, just one more thing before we go. I think in the same spirit of seeing great clips go viral, and that I think that's one of my favorite bits of a World Cup. And things like England fans going nuts for Pointless.
Oh yeah, very good.
Just they're like, there's Pointless has nothing to do with the World Cup. It's got nothing to do with it. And then suddenly we get a great national moment coming together to support an episode of Celebrity Pointless.
Yeah. Just wonderful stuff.
It's just another reason to come together as one community.
Yeah, I think there's been a clip before. It might be a really old one from a pub where they're watching the chase in the pub, and so they get some limbs out because they beat the chaser, and it was sort of in the ilk of that. Obviously, everyone's in the pub. They're turning over from ITV from the Norway game onto BBC, and obviously because it was about half hour before the broadcast meant to start, you get the end of Pointless, and just the fact that they got a pointless answer at the end. At least,
and they built them up because they got one. They got one just before it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, they got one for the first answer. Then the second answer was wrong. And then the final answer was a pointless answer. And I've seen 10 different pubs where the reaction is exactly the same. It sadly didn't get the respect it deserves from where we were. We were too busy playing our own game before that got turned over, so we didn't quite take it all in. I don't think anyone in our pub did, sadly. But yeah, it's such a British thing, isn't it?
Our eyes got diverted by a picture of Vicarage Road.
Yeah. For me, for some reason, just assumed,
football.
It's a football stadium. And then just saw a load of cathedrals afterwards. It's like, okay, no, right.
Somehow I thought Rotterdam was on the M1. But that just shows you what state I was in. I think the other side of that, in terms of great clips that you only get really during an international tournament, like the stuff I love, like that the stream of that Paraguay penalty going down. Have you seen that?
Yes, yeah. With
in Paraguay where
the screen, yeah.
he's just about to take the winning pen and
Hmm.
it goes dead and they don't
Yeah,
know what's happened.
yeah.
And then it comes on and they're all celebrating.
Yeah, it clips perfectly, doesn't it? Where the ball is,
I
where
would
he's kicked it, and you can tell like a lot of them be like, "That's clearly gone in," but I can't react because we haven't seen it in the back of the net. So they get like a nice muted celebration. Then the
yeah.
TV comes back on, and they're all celebrating. So they get another
Absolutely.
one.
How do you let that timer time out?
I know.
Like, come on, lads.
It's incredible because I've been in pubs where the remote is they've clearly only got like one remote for the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it doesn't quite go missing, but enough staff don't know where it is quickly enough. So that thing has happened, not to that extent before, but we want the volume turned up, and it takes a good 10 minutes before someone finally gets the remote and does it, and things like that. And we missed the national anthems where I was for the England Ghana game because the music was still playing over the speakers, just normal music. Because like, come on, lads, you could just get it together. So yeah, it's an understandable thing. I think I did see one clip where it was only a photo actually of the timer being put on the screen with only a couple of minutes left of injury time from the England game the other night. So yeah, it's a sort of thing that just comes out from the World Cup, which is just brilliant. And yeah, we can't not love it. Can't not love it.
And hopefully we'll get another night like that on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to think about it at all.
No, yeah,
So
it's still gonna
maybe
go.
we'll just come back here and moan about it afterwards.
Yeah, no,
Shall we do that?
no, we'll be prepping for a semi-final. What are you talking about?
We could do that. We could do that
Do
instead.
that,
All right,
yeah, of course, yeah.
it's a deal. It's a deal.
All right.
Well, in that case, hope everyone who's been watching, listening, you've enjoyed it. Yeah, pleasure to bring you another episode during this crazy World Cup. And until the next one, happy hate watching, and we'll see you soon.
We want goals.